The DeFi sector in this market is still absolutely massive, regardless of the downtrend that we are experiencing. What I find very interesting about the DeFi side of this market, though, is that most of the top tier DeFi projects are not even listed in this category. Like, for an example, I do think that Ethereum deserves to be in the DeFi category. I also think that Hedera deserves to be in the DeFi category. Now, those two are not, and I'm sure that there's many more, but this is still a massive piece of the crypto market. In fact, DeFi for the longest time was essentially the welcome mat where, we saw a ton of new users running into crypto because DeFi was a big selling point to them. Today, DeFi is still a huge selling point to the crypto markets, and also it's still a major welcome mat. Except guess what? It's not so much a welcome mat for retail anymore, but for institutional players, because institutional DeFi is becoming a reality. Now, let's talk about a few things before we dive on into the real juicy stuff. Let's talk about price action real quick. I am watching Hedera closely leading into the Sunday close, aka the weekly candle close. So far, we have been holding this trend line. I want to see a lot more out of Hedera over the next couple of days so that, we can maintain this trend line and we could see an impulsive move on the chart as well. RSI is dipping back down into some of the lowest points since going all the way back to 2024 and prior. So again, most of these altcoins are oversold right now. And, I'm not changing my focus on that at all. I feel like at this moment, a lot of these projects are severely undervalued. I think that they were undervalued even at their previous highs. Now, long term, when we are thinking about some of these projects, we will circle back to days like today or the last couple weeks and say, well, guess what? I can't believe that we had an opportunity like that. And, we either took it or we missed it. Now, with Hedera, like I've said many times over in the past, let's just go all the way back to 2021, right? Because that's when I officially said it. I said that Hedera is going to be a blue chip. It's going to be a household name. I'm still committed to that. In fact, I feel as if Hedera has made a much larger name for themselves over the last 4 years than majority of the other projects in this space. Now, on top of that, let's talk about a few things. Like, for example, CoinMarketCap, including Hedera in the crypto's first DeFi-enabled tradable index token. This is CMC20, and this is the first DeFi-native tradable crypto index token on BNB chain. Your single trade gateway to diversified exposure across the top 20 crypto assets. Obviously, Hedera being a top 20 project, it is included in this. And we have over here from HBAR Tata, CoinMarketCap introduces the first ever DeFi tradable index token, given exposure to the top 20 crypto assets. The index already holds over 7 million HBAR. So this is great to see, and we can track this fully as well. Here we have it as of currently 11/17. There is about 7 million HBAR locked up in this. Very good start, obviously, but again, this is just another great insight into some of the recent products launching around the space, including even the Canary HBAR ETF, which, by the way, Canary continues to market and push Hedera. They have been marketing Hedera for a while now, even going all the way back to November 3rd. And if we're looking at the HBAR ETF from Canary currently, they have about 409 million HBAR locked up in this ETF. This is equivalent to almost $60 million. You might be saying, well, Nick, that doesn't seem all that much. And it's definitely not a crazy amount. However, it's a very good performance for a top 20 project that's just on the cusp of the top 20, by the way, as well. And also coming from a name like Canary Capital that only has about $200 million in assets under management. I think that has changed a bit with the XRP ETF, but still, this is a smaller name. Now, let's talk about DeFi and DeFi related topics. So right off the rip, I want to start with SaucerSwap. So this is the number one DEX on Hedera. We have here SaucerSwap Labs has published the Sauce Mika white paper with support from the Mika Crypto Alliance. This makes SaucerSwap the first decentralized exchange on Hedera to adopt Mika aligned structured disclosure. This is a very big update because, again, compliance is everything. Making sure that we have a full-on structure in line with major regulations is crucial for the success of not just these projects, but also the applications within these networks. This is great to see for, of course, Hedera's number one DEX, one of the largest DEXs in this space as well, to be fully aligned with Mika, regulations. Now, we also have down here that the white paper provides Mika structured documentation covering protocol and token overview, governance and functionality, economic model and risk factors, underlying technology, environmental sustainability indicators built to give users clear, structured information. What it means, users get clear, verifiable information that supports informed decisions. Institutions receive standardized documentation for due diligence and compliance review. The Hedera ecosystem signals regulatory maturity and stronger transparency standards. Clear, verifiable, Mika aligned. SaucerSwap is raising the transparency standard for Hedera DeFi. This is incredible to see. I love this as well. And again, this is just another big +1 for SaucerSwap. It shows you the types of projects that are building around the Hedera ecosystem. Now, talking about DeFi. What makes DeFi on Hedera so much more different than, let's just say, Ethereum? Let's go over here. This got posted back on November 2nd from Cointelegraph, and it was talking about MEV sandwiching. Coinman the HBAR did quote this and said, Hedera HBAR uses Hgraph instead of blockchain, so MEV is eliminated. With Hedera's enterprise-grade DLT, you get fair ordering of transactions, which prevents front-running. Institutional DeFi, as well as retail, makes sense on Hedera. Folks are waking up. And here we have just a screenshot from this article, MEV driving institutions away from DeFi, costing users dearly, crypto exec. Broadcasting transactions before they are executed imposes a hidden tax on retail crypto users while alienating financial institutions. Listen, I don't know if any of you have utilized Uniswap on Ethereum for trades, or even just buying a certain project, maybe even buying NFTs. It doesn't matter, right? Getting sandwiched through MEVs is one of the biggest issues plaguing Ethereum today. I have witnessed people get sandwiched for well over $1,000, $10,000, even upwards of hundreds of thousands of dollars. It is a big problem. And it's another just big negative to transacting within the DeFi space outside of these networks like, for example, Hedera, that has no MEV concerns. Because again, this is not blockchain. It is Hgraph. It's completely different. This is all eliminated. These problems that are plaguing some of these other networks, they are all solved on Hedera. Now, when we talk about that, how early are we in the DeFi side of Hedera? Well, we know recently, just going back and looking at the quarterly report, we do have here from Bonzo Finance. This is regarding Masari Crypto's recent report. We have the Hedera DeFi ecosystem just wrapped one of its strongest quarters yet. We talked about this slightly. TVL rose 53.4% quarter over quarter to 113.5 million. DEX volumes nearly doubled, and new integrations expanded liquidity across the network. This was a very successful quarter for DeFi on Hedera. The market cap grew, the TVL grew, the active accounts grew, institutional adoption was picking up with, of course, Frontier Stable token. This is one of the first state-issued stablecoins coming to Hedera. Major integrations pushed Hedera's reach as well. We had Stargate Finance and Hedera. They brought Canonical wrapped Ethereum to the network. Kaio, XYZ, and Swarm Markets advanced tokenized finance. Circle's cross-chain transfer protocol, CCTP, boosted native USDC transfers as well. I mean, all of this is to improve liquidity and really improve interoperability as well. Then, of course, yes, we do have the TVL jump here, which is definitely big. Overall, it was a very successful quarter for Hedera DeFi. And I don't think that this is going to be the last successful quarter for DeFi on Hedera. Why? It's because of all of the recent announcements after the quarterly report. Because again, like I said, almost every other week, we are seeing more and more updates regarding Hedera expanding, partnering, pushing major upgrades to the network. For an example, recently on November 14th, we got from Hgraph big DeFi news. Hgraph acquires ETA Swap and launches ETA Finance, unifying cross-chain DeFi infrastructure on Hedera and beyond. This follows us welcoming ETA Bridge into the Hgraph family in August. And here we have over here, Hgraph acquires ETA Swap and launches ETA Finance, unifying cross-chain DeFi infrastructure. So this is definitely a big one. And again, it's just to expand and, deliver on that cross-chain infrastructure that is required to really grow DeFi and scale it to the next level. I'm very excited about this. And again, I feel like almost all of these major moves to really, bridge the space, because again, we already have wrapped Ethereum. Now we're starting to see this unified platform to ensure that all of these other networks can tap into Hedera as well. It's great for the DeFi side of things. It's great for stablecoins as well. This is all to really give Hedera that next major boost, if you will. And then also, more recently, we got wrapped Bitcoin coming to Hedera, which was another big move. So if we're thinking about this, right, we have all of these cross-chain, initiatives happening on Hedera. Then we get wrapped Ethereum. Now we have wrapped Bitcoin. This is all while quarter 3 was such a huge quarter for DeFi on Hedera already. What do you think happens next? Here we have wrapped Bitcoin. The industry's leading tokenized form of Bitcoin is now live on the institutional grade Hedera network. This integration was made possible in collaboration with Hedera Council member BitGo, alongside industry leading teams like BitGlobal Trust and Layer 0 Core. And if we're looking at this with over 126,000 Bitcoin in custody, a $13 billion market cap and 65% market share of tokenized Bitcoin on Ethereum, wrapped Bitcoin is the industry benchmark for Bitcoin utility across digital assets. Each wrapped Bitcoin on Hedera is fully backed one-to-one with Bitcoin held in BitGlobal's secure custody, ensuring that every wrapped token is transparently verifiable, providing the same level of assurance that has made wrapped Bitcoin the dominant Bitcoin representation across DeFi. We have down here that the deployment of wrapped Bitcoin on Hedera introduces an entirely new class of liquidity to the network, creating opportunities for developers and users alike to access institutional grade Bitcoin within Hedera's DeFi ecosystem. And of course, we will have bridging live with Stargate Finance. The first pools for wrapped Bitcoin are now live on SaucerSwap Labs as well, the leading DEX on Hedera by trading volume. As Bitcoin Fi matures, Hedera's institutional grade network is a natural home for its next wave of growth, providing a best-in-class UX for Bitcoin holders through consensus level benefits such as no front running, no MEV sandwiching, and low fixed fees. This is incredible to see. And of course, yes, BitGo is a massive name. They've always been a massive name. Just going over to their website, you can see $104 billion in assets on their platform, 9.3 million plus wallets created, the #1 custodian and staking provider as well. They have so many major partners already. This is just a significant name in the space. And also, by the way, if you really look at their partnerships, I mean, guys, their partner list is absolutely stacked. I forgot where it is. I know that, here, let me go and grab the list real quick. So I couldn't find a full list. However, under their case studies, you could see all of the names that are recently announced here. For an example, we do have Hedera. We also have CoinMina. We have Copper, Clearloop as well. We also have a ton of other players here as well. The list just goes on. I mean, this is one of the largest players in the industry, and I just love the fact that Hedera is, working with them closely and also the fact that they are a GC member. It just goes to show you that we're starting to see a lot more hands-on from some of these GC members as well, which is exactly what we wanted to see anyways in the past as well. So very good news. And overall, you know, we are starting to see a ton of major updates happening in the DeFi side of things for Hedera. And this is what is really getting me excited about the future as well for institutional DeFi, because they're already really kind of expanding on that side of the market to ensure that they can fully embrace institutional players at scale for DeFi initiatives. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely like, subscribe, turn notifications on because of more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord on the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.